What was apartheid in South Africa? How is it connected to human rights? And where else can we still see apartheid today? Let's get into it. South Africa has a long and brutal history of European colonialism. After World War II, a new chapter was introduced and it was called apartheid. White Europeans gave themselves way more rights and privileges than Black South Africans. Apartheid laws forced racialized groups to live and develop separately. Here are two of many examples.
Firstly, Black people had no freedom of movement that was enjoyed by white people. Black people of South Africa had to carry their IDs everywhere they went at all times. Police would restrict the movement of Black people to and from urban areas. And secondly, Black people were not recognized as full citizens. The government was only made of white people, of which they were a minority, but the Black people, the majority, was not even considered. The freedom of speech and assembly was restricted. Basic human rights and labor rights did not exist for Black people. Many Western states supported the white regime in South Africa. Switzerland actually helped South Africa build 6 nuclear bombs in 1980s. The international community woke up. Apartheid was officially abolished in the early 1990s because of international pressure from outside South Africa. And Black activists, to name a few, such as Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, paved the way for this. While it was officially abolished, systematic racism is still alive. Black people and white people stay segregated, for example, in education, access to water. The rich in South Africa are getting richer, and the poor are getting poorer.
Apartheid came to be known as a system that can exist also outside of South Africa. In 1973, the United Nations adopted the Apartheid Convention. It defines the crime of apartheid in the following way: inhuman acts committed for the purpose of establishing and maintaining domination by one racial group of persons over any other racial group of persons and systematically oppressing them. Human rights organization Amnesty International talks about Israel-Palestine as an example of where we can find apartheid today. Let us explicitly say that the policies of the Israeli state do not represent all Jewish people or even Israeli citizens. Again, two of many examples of apartheid in Israel-Palestine.
First, the Israeli state puts hundreds of Palestinians, including children, in prison without giving them a trial. They are in prison without knowing why they are there. The same laws do not apply to Jewish Israelis. Second, the Israeli state blocks freedom of movement of Palestinians in their lands. They need to get permits to travel between a web of Israeli military checkpoints, blockades, blocked roads and gates. This is done in the name of security for the Israeli state.
But does apartheid make anyone safer? South African activists like Nelson Mandela spoke against apartheid in Israel-Palestine many times. Mandela said in 1997, "We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians, without the resolution of conflicts in East Timor, Sudan, and other parts of the world." While apartheid has been condemned globally in South Africa, it is still going on in Israel-Palestine. The international community needs to wake up.